Everyone,
Kaylee.
thanks for joining. It's a little bit after 11. And we got a little bit of a light crowd. I think we only have one on Zoom this time. Is that right, Taylor? Yeah, that's so far. But that's okay. I think a little bit of the weather. It looks shaping up to be a pretty nice day, and I'm sure folks have a lot of things going on as we're leading into spring this week. First day of spring coming up. So, but if anything, there's still some handouts in the back there with Plymouth Rural Services. And there are enough people here that are connected with a lot of other networks. So please, by all means, through your word of mouth and through your opportunities to try to get some of this information out and about in the intervening days between meeting to meeting. We really appreciate that help of just the independent conversations you all have in the groups and organizations that you're already a part of. So thanks for carrying the water on that. We have plenty of refreshments in the back. This month, our refreshments were sponsored by Grocery Outlet down in Quincy. And Grocery Outlet actually does a lot of great things in the community as part of their business model with regard to non-perishable food donation and whatnot. It's actually embedded into their business model that they contribute to the community a certain percentage each month. So if you're an organization that may need help with some basic items like the ones that we have here today, they're very happy and willing to help provide to make your event a success. So thank you, Grocery Outlet, for your help today. Next slide, please. The Dixie Fire Long-Term Recovery Group, known as the DFC, Dixie Fire Collaborative, is a collaboration of nonprofit, faith-based, local, state, and national organizations that work together to share information and resources that can help address the needs of individuals and families affected by the Dixie wildfire. The stated mission of the DFC is working to fulfill the unmet needs of Dixie fire survivors and helping to rebuild the communities of Greenville, Indian Falls, Caney Dam, Warner Valley, and the surrounding areas of Plymouth County. All programs should support this mission and purpose, and all who work on or work for or on behalf of the Dixie Fire Collaborative shall understand and adhere to that purpose. And with that, we have our newly elected treasurer, Mr. Danny Steyer, helping us out with our treasurer's report this month.
Morning. I don't get the feedback, but I'm next.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. Now I hear it. Yeah, I wasn't here.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm Danny Steyer, and I'm gonna try to pick up where Sherry left us and go from there and work on some things. One thing I had to look at is I'm gonna try to couch thing as inflows and outflows and just big buckets, and then talk to you about what changed in the buckets, if you will. But I'm gonna use her setup this time, and I'll probably modify a little bit going forward. So we start with the first one. So this is the first bucket is inflows. So with inflows, we have what PG&E gave us, and we have contributions, and we have interest income. All right. This month, we don't have any changes in the interest because it wasn't posted. So the inflows don't change. There's no change in here. So we'll go to the next slide. We start in the first part of the outflows. The outflows we have due to our approved grants, our expenditures, and then committed funding. And we've got a couple slides here, approved grants, and there's no changes here in grants. So if we just go through a couple slides here, and so the total approved grants has not changed. It's at 7,170,000. Anyway, I'll get it right. These large numbers, I'll figure out how to say them, the mouthful. So there was no changes here. So now we're talking about our expenditures. And this is where we get to some changes in expenditures. It's not right here. But if we go to the next slide, as I show here, the one change is I'm trying to have some highlights here. And you see in the blue, does that blue highlight show up back there in the back? Yeah. Because from my experience of other presentations, trying to use yellow doesn't work way in the back and such. So these are the areas that changed in expenditures. And so since last time we had our meeting, so therefore we had use of the communication technician. So we paid the communication technician. So there's a little increase there in that amount. And so then the expenditures increased by the increment there. And the account balance is just that what we paid out, the $540 was paid out. So actually the expenditures changed only by that amount. for the month. So if we go to the next slide and we start here, and this is where we have committed funding. So once again, in outflows, we have what approved grants we played, expended funds, monthly stuff, and then planned expenditures or approved stuff that we're looking at, but we haven't actually expended it. So this is ready to be spent. And so here again, we have so notice there in the blue, we have some highlights there on technician. Well, our technician is going to help us with the web pages and some other stuff. So that's the 4 hours there to increase. So that's been increased by that amount. And we have 6 months out there. Not that we're committed definitely for 6 months, but this is just, we expect to be having to pay something there with that. So that's a placeholder there. And then you notice down at the bottom here, we have the Dixie Fire Resource Center. So approve it from the February to August. So we had a meeting at the DFC steering committee met, and we had a proposal, a request for funding to support the Dixie Fire Resource Center. And so actually we talked with the North Valley Community Fund, and we're actually splitting that support. So that's where that 39,000 comes from. So so that brings our total commitments to $643,000 and 8,830, all right, 803.17. So if we go forward from this, and now here we have the total commitments. So I call the total outflows. And so this is where I want to go ahead and say the total outflows is the grants, expenditures, and the commitments going forward. So of that, we have 1 million, I'll get it right, $1,615,134.36 of money that's gone or committed to be gone. All right. And so I've kind of added down here, we have what our total outflow divided by our total inflow. That comes out to 52.6%. And the remaining funds that we have for the Dixie Fire Collaborative here is $1,454,521.17. So that's what we have left. So that's a report. And in my mind going forward, I'm going to kind of condense maybe this we used to call it the executive summary. Maybe one sheet would just tell us what we changed at the very top, and we'll just include this stuff there, information there, because I know everybody want all this information somewhere for transparency reasons, so anybody can pick up and know where the money has been spent. I think that's the one thing that striving to do, but there again, like any of you, I don't know if you're going to pull your check about every book out and show somebody you register every time you talk to somebody, but you want to be able to go for it and get it somewhere. So I'm struggling as to how to provide that, whether it's on site or just have it here, just have a summary slide and provide this detail, which you can look at your leisure. And everybody knows where to get this information on the website, right? After the meeting. So hopefully we get people to do that. All right. I think I made it. Next. It looks like.
Great. Danny, thank you so much for that. And again, the treasurer's report is on our website. So you can find it in two places, either from this presentation, and then we'll take that. And then underneath the steering committee tab, there's another heading down at the bottom that has the treasurer's report. So that information is kept there as well. And with regard to moving forward, on April 6th, we have community organizations that are represented that are coming to a meeting specifically for that. We're talking about how those organizations are doing right now, some of their goals, some of their obstacles really. And then we'll be going over the grant funding page on our website connected with the North Valley Community Foundation on the small and large grants and how based off of eligibility, different organizations can work that funding. The steering committee will also be coming up with sort of like a strategic plan in the next several months when they meet for a workshop that will hopefully identify funding opportunities over the next 12 months to where this the money that you saw, the roughly $1.4 million left that's unobligated or uncommitted, that can be used to fund certain community development opportunities. So more to follow on that. But with that, two of our large organizations that are very active within the Dixie Fire Collaborative, the North Valley Catholic Social Services and Plumas Rural Services, working together on our disaster case management program. And they have a joint presentation today, an update. All right, team, come on up.
Morning.
Good morning.
Glad you hear me. We're the only ones. How's that? Okay. We're the only ones brave enough to come up here and talk to you guys today. So it's just myself, Nancy Presser, and Joan Carter from NBCSS. A lot of times people ask us, what do you guys actually do? And we don't see you guys working. So we don't know if you do anything. So we thought, all right, we'd like to present to you actually pictures of what we do. So you can actually see that we do stuff and that we really care about the community and care about you all. And this is our way of showing you.
Exactly. Unless you have a case manager and you've had,
You're on just putting it.
unless you've had a case manager and you've been actively working with us, you probably either have been at an event that we've sponsored or something like that, but you don't actually know what it's like to sit across from us and have us work with you and try to help you through what we've all been through. So this will give you a little idea of what we actually do in the community and with the community.
Go ahead. So this is our teams. You can see us around. This is mostly our PRS team. The center is us receiving a Heroes Award for working with the community. And in front of the Resource Center a couple of times, out by some of our events, but this is us. We've got a large team over at PRS.
And this is our team. You can see that we've had some fun. We've been involved in a lot of the parades, so you've probably seen our floats. We may have escorted you a couple of times. We've been involved with the school. We just dropped off some little craft kits for the children to make some St. Patrick's Day crafts. And if you've noticed over here, they just have a little contest. They were making leprechaun traps. I understand the kindergartners did check to see if any of them caught any, but I don't think they did. Next month we'll be presenting some kits to all of the children so they can make Mother's Day cards. So we try to keep in touch with the children. We send home some information to the parents of events and of information that may be able to help them, including some mental health information too, because the families are going through some very stressful times. And we want to make sure that there's help available for the whole family to be able to go through these things. So there we are up there, working with people and trying to help people through this time.
All right. We gave you a huge list of our outreach events. We go to outreach events so that we can not only be involved in the community, help the community recover, bring some more joy and laughter back to the community. So these are, I think, all of the events listed that we've done together. And you can see, we try to have fun. We try to bring that back to you guys and but also participate and be there for the community.
And we hope to see everybody the day before Easter. This year, we're going to be doing our Easter egg hunt. We're calling it the extravaganza this year. We're going to be expanding Easter egg hunt to include hot dog lunch. We're going to have music. We're going to have door prizes, face painting, and we're going to have a prize wheel and some other little things for the community. If you don't have kids, maybe you'll just come out and join us and see your neighbors and watch children go nuts, especially after they eat the candy. And we wanted to make sure that we had a chance for everybody to get out of the house since it's been winter forever, and just meet your neighbors and maybe share some hugs and enjoy a day together, and hopefully maybe some sunshine, I hope. So that'll be the 30th of this month, day before Easter. So please come out and enjoy it with us.
So you can see we both did Gold Diggers Day last year.
Yep, you guys got first prize, we got second.
Yep.
Watch out, we're gunning for you.
All right. Maybe we'll combine booths this time. float
Oh,
sometime.
then we'll for sure get
Yeah,
first
yeah,
prize.
maybe we'll be the grand marshal too.
Ooh. Good deal.
We participated in a community supper, and there's some 4th of July parade. And I think my staff would love for me to say that 4th of July parade, we all showed up. We were going to march in the parade, and then we said we need a float. So we wrestled with Martha Vaughn. She had a truck. We got all of our decorations. We had all our candy, and we had a float. And we just went in and did it. So, and then the community supper was amazing. We really enjoyed serving the community hamburgers and hot dogs, and everybody had a really great time.
Yep, and we were behind an entire family of dinosaurs. So I asked them, it was pretty warm. I said, are you guys really gonna wear those dinosaur costumes? They said, don't worry, they all have fans inside of them. I said, well, that's pretty cool.
There's some other community events, the Children's Fair, where we do fire preparedness information. So we're just trying to continue to keep the community aware that home hardening, it's important, just keep thinking about fire. We're usually next to United policyholders and they talk about insurance and fire insurance. But we know we went through this horrible disaster in our town, but we want to keep people aware that, there's things that you can do to help support your home and keep it safe. And here we are at Trunk or Treat, supporting Taylorsville schools. We had a great time. It was fun. Lots of kids came out that night. And we recently just finished doing a teen night at the Ayub House, which is across the street. And Donnell let us use his open house for that event. We came coordinated with the girls, I think it's in Quincy, they're girls, they're teens, and brought teens from Greenville together. And then we hosted a senior lunch with Judy Dolphin and her Making and Bacon crew, and everybody had a great time.
And the girls stuffed 200 Easter eggs with candy for us for the Easter event. And I think they ate probably 5 pounds of candy while they were doing it. So I guess they were really fast at stuffing the eggs after they ate all the candy. So.
And then every holiday for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, we really make it possible and go out and find funding so that we can provide the families that are the most vulnerable in our community. So usually it's a senior citizen, somebody who's disabled, a single mom, or dad who has kids, somebody who's vulnerable in our community, somebody who's low income, and we provide them with a Thanksgiving and a Christmas basket. So we're gonna do that this year as well. And here's our newest program. Dan Litchfield in the back, Nature Made. So we had a bunch of fun over the summer months, bringing, unity and community back to the children, because a lot has happened over the last 4 years. COVID, keeping people separated, and then the fire, keeping people away from their friends, kids away from their friends. So we had a once a month Nature Made where kids could come and be kids. And, parents could come too if they wanted to be kids too, but play in the creek, get dirty, have fun, do some crafts. A lot of our community members came out and volunteered those days just to be either somebody who was going to watch the kids. I know Randy Hovland came and did painted rocks. We had a lot of people there to support. If you're in the room and you were there, sorry, if I don't mention your name, but we had a lot of support.
Yeah, and my grandson had a triumph because he made it up the climbing wall, and he's afraid of heights, and he was so proud of himself. He came back down, he said, "Grandma, I did it." So kids make some really big leaps and bounds out there. And it makes us proud of them that they do those things, a little peer pressure, but yeah, and he did go on the what do you call the zip line too, and so he was really proud of himself. Yeah, he's 7.
Oh, 7, that's huge.
Yeah.
And we also were able to provide winter's assistance again to our low income, disabled, senior citizens, single family parenting homes. So these are the numbers over the last few years of the wood that we've been able to accumulate. I want to thank Dan. He's in this room. He did a lot of gathering of wood this year. He got out there and with his chainsaw a lot and delivered a lot of wood this season. And past years, we were also able to do winter clothing, as you can see in the 22-23 year. And we were also able to do space heaters for some people, especially for people living in travel trailers. And I thought you guys might want to see what we consider our major wins over the past 3 years, 2 years. Just being able to have a resource center. Not all fire areas or even disaster areas have a resource center where community can go and get things, basic need things for free. That's a huge win. So thank you, DFC Steering Committee, for keeping us up and running for the next 6 months. We appreciate it. We've worked really hard on getting people who live and own property back hooked up to PG&E. It can be a process where people don't know they have to reach out to PG&E to request the power pole. Some people thought that it was just going to happen because they burnt it down. It was just going to happen. So a lot of our staff is educating people about this rebuild process. The SUN funding, SUN stands for Simple Unmet Needs. That's a grant for fire survivors who have a gap of funding. Maybe somebody who has just enough to pay for this amount, and then they don't have enough to finish a project. So those are some of the examples of funding that we've received from the Simple Unmet Needs. And then SHOP is another funding resource we have through United Way. It's basically for stabilization and housing. So again, it's for people who lost over 50% of their belongings or in the fire, the damage. And some of the things that we've been able to apply for funding for people who don't have those financial resources. We've got some really celebrations of all the rebuilds that we've been a part of with people in our program. And also, I think one of our major wins was back last year about a month ago, last February, getting all those people who are living in travel trailers in Westwood. We got pretty much everybody housed. That was a huge win for us, especially during the winter storms that were going on. I probably heard me say it a lot, but it was one of those big deals for us. We also were able to negotiate with the county to get the Cal OES trailers that were housed at Wolf Creek Road. All of those have been donated to somebody who is homeless. So we had 14 trailers, all 14 of those went to somebody who had no other home, but to live in that trailer. We consider that a huge win. Right now, we had a volunteer or say, hey, I know this group called Craftsmen for Christ, they'll build ramps. So we're getting a ramp built for one of our clients next week. And then early on in the program, there's a lot of properties that needed these huge water tanks. And so we were able to find somebody who, a farm that was willing to donate some of those empty ones. And we were able to get a lot of people water tanks over the first years of the program. So those are our major wins we consider. If I missed anything, let me know. And then we have a couple client success stories we wanted to share with you. We've got this home rebuild that was happening. Their move-in date, I think they just got occupancy. And I think what was nice about this home rebuild, it was a community event. I think it was a community. I know that we had people over there helping rebuild and purchase supplies, but this family persevered. I know it was a long go to get their home rebuilt, and I'm so grateful that they're here and that they've finally got move-in occupancy. And this is another success story. I love what this client says. It's just about hope. He, very interesting community member, just full of just the joy of life. He's gone through a lot of physical hardships after the fire, and the fact that we can celebrate him having his modular home back up on his property and some of the things that he's accomplished mostly on his own. He's one of those very motivated clients who are, I'm going to get this done, and he did it. So I'm really happy to celebrate his home rebuild as well. And then here's some of the trailers. I mean, they're pretty nice trailers. They were, let's see, 2021 of the flyer. I think they were 2021 trailers. Cal OES kind of bought the best of the best. And these are some of it moving. We have a volunteer, Mark Swaim. I don't know if you've heard us mention him or you're familiar with that name before. He's works with a crew called Isaiah 6, I think it's 618.
6'8".
6'8". He's been our savior for the last few years. When we need something transported, we need something picked up from down in the valley, he's helped bring up water. He's helped bring up resources for the resource center. He has a crew of contractors / handymen, so we can get on their list. They'll help do little projects for our community members. And he's just been a lifesaver transporting those, being able to transport those trailers to somebody's home once they've property, or whether it's a property or a rental space. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, Mark will be there at our Easter event with his trailer, and he'll be providing music, hot chocolate, hot cider, and he will also have a couple of choppers, as in motorcycles, that he'll have their show bikes, and they're all with a Christian theme. So the kids I know will love to see those. And I also wanted to tell you that the very last trailer that was donated to a local person here, I won't say his name, but he's a young man that was trying to make a better life for himself. And the day that he found out that he was going to get this trailer, 3 days after that, he found out that he got a job at the mill in Quincy. And he can't thank us enough that he's going to have a life now. And it just so happened that there was a little old trailer that was on the property where he's putting his trailer. And he fixed that trailer up for his brother, and his brother got a job at the mill right after that. So we not only helped one person in that family, but we motivated him to help his brother. And now that whole family is starting out with a new outlook on life. So it's just been a joy for us to be able to give people hope and, see that there is a future for people in our valley and that we can move forward with a smile on our face.
And then here's another success story. You can see kind of the what the fire did, how the family was living with all those tarps, and I know everybody's just like trying to survive, so they do what they can do to survive and keep their families together. And this was one of our heart-wrenching families that were back on their property, just camping, basically, overall last summer. And we were able to apply for a donation of a travel trailer. So it actually houses all four of them. It's a mom and dad and two of the adult kids. And they're, now they're a little bit safe, and now they're looking more forward to a rebuild, to take advantage of those grant rebuilds that we have. I know one of the stories that we heard is we had the PG&E representative, Matt McGregor, who applies the power poles. He went up to look at the property and where the power pole is going to be, and he just cried because he couldn't believe that a person would be living in a campsite, and that was okay. They were getting water, they had to get all their water. They had no power. They had no electricity. Everything was really like off grid. So he made it his point to make sure that they were established, their power was established as soon as it could be, which we were really grateful for. Yeah, and one of our successes we feel is like we're getting trained, right, to help the community with this Recover California grant process. There's 2 grants. There's one called Single Family Mitigation Retrofit. It's a grant that's up to $50,000 to help home harden. So it's open to everybody in Plumas County, every property owner, I should say, in Plumas County that has a home that maybe needs a little bit of more oomph. Some of the things that they could qualify for is outdoors home hardening against the fire, siding, windows, a roof. So we're really excited about this, that anybody in the county can take advantage of this if they're a property owner. And then the other one we've been trained on is the single family reconstruction, which again is a grant for up to $500,000. That's a rebuild. It's a total rebuild. So it's for, low to moderate income families. But I would say when I look at the numbers, we're low to moderate income people here, sorry to say, but so if you have questions or you're interested or somebody, please pass this information around, especially I would say the grant for the home hardening, because if you do have a standing house, I have a feeling that not everybody's going to know about this unless we just start talking about it. You know how good we are at word of mouth in this community. So let's keep talking about it. Let's talk to our friends, our neighbors, our family about both of these grant opportunities. Send them over to Patrick, but he'll send them to us. He's busy, or send them over to us at MBCSS or PRS, because we've got the information and we'll be doing some outreach events about this coming up. We'll have a mock kind of like an information center next week at the DFC office on Thursday from 2:30 to 5:30. So if you know anybody, send them over. We'll tell you what documents you need to get in order to qualify and to apply. And then the eligibility is really, we have some basic eligibility, but then it's just sending that application into the state to see about qualifications. They seem to be accommodating, I would say, because we know that some circumstances in our county and property ownership in our county is wonky, but you know, it doesn't hurt to ask and it doesn't hurt to apply. And that's what, you know, that's what we're here for, is to help everybody get back into a home, you know, feel safe and secure again.
Yeah, and if you don't have a case manager, but you're interested in the $500,000 home rebuild or the retrofitting, you might want to get a hold of either myself or Nancy or somebody over at PRS, because a case manager can work with the case managers for these programs and get you lined up with all of the paperwork that you're going to need to be able to apply for these things, to make sure that you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted when you do apply for these things. And also the retrofitting program, if you're interested in trying to get insurance on a home that you have now, they are going to be looking at your house as far as Title 25 or 24 and those kinds of things. And those retrofitting things could help you qualify for insurance. So it could be important if you are looking to try and get insurance, because they're going to be looking at those things, your roof, your siding, all of those things will matter. They check them off. So it could be important to you that way. And also, I have information on the back table if you're interested in another program, which the county is offering you, which is called the ADU unit, which is an auxiliary dwelling unit. It originally was offered as a mother-in-law type unit. If you had a home, you were building a home and you wanted to put an auxiliary unit on, it was a program that they were offering that was various house plans that you could choose from 4 different house plans, different sizes, small units. Well, they decided that because everybody can't afford to build a larger home, that they would offer these as primary dwelling units, pre-approved plans by the county that you could build. And so I have the auxiliary dwelling unit flyers in the back. You can take a look at the units, see the different plans that they have available, pre-approved, the sizes, the house plans and everything else. And I also have, you can take a look at, but you can't take it. Tracy has gone to the trouble of getting all of the finishes pre-approved from Lowe's and Home Depot, so they're available in the area. So you can sit down with your contractor when you get one. You can pick out all of your finishes ahead of time. You can get everything ready to go down to the building department and get your permit, and you'll be off to the races, and you'll have everything ready to go. And they're all Title 24, all pre-approved already. And they're really nice looking little places. So you can take a look at those and see if that's something that you might be able to look at, because it's a stick built. You could build it now, and then if it looks like you're going to have some more funds available, you can always remodel it and make it something bigger in the future as you go along. So it gives you options. And so I think it's really wonderful that our building department is doing everything in their power to try and give us options, to give us the ability to rebuild in a million different ways so that we can get going and get our town back. So I really, really appreciate them. Thank you.
So I've gotten the time to go. So these are our numbers. These are some of the, on the left is some of the numbers that, full numbers of what we've been able to give to survivors through grant funding. And here's our current numbers, up to this month. I would just say that we've had 1,405 clients served in the past, since the beginning of the program, which was really in 2022. And then we've made over $2 million of referrals to people in the community since 2022. So I think that's a huge success for us. I'm gonna go ahead. And then lastly, of course, if you have any fire-related needs, that's one of the criteria to be in the DCMP program, but that doesn't mean we won't help you guys. I know a lot of people have said, well, they can't help me because I had insurance or I had this or whatever. But really, if you have questions, if you need information, if you need an application, we're here to help you. We're here to help the whole community. Can we get you in the DCMP? Some people don't qualify. Well, maybe you don't qualify, but we are here to help you. We really want to see everybody come back from this disaster a little bit more resilient, a little bit stronger, and we're here to help.
Well, thank you, both of you, for representing both of your organizations. A tremendous amount of information. And, once again, when you hear things like that, day in, day out, there can, people drive around. And I was just talking to a gentleman who owns property here, and he drives up every now and again to kind of take a look around. And he has been inspired about another house here or something there. And we were talking a little bit about like the big thing, like what is the big thing that will, make it all different. And we both in our conversation realized that it's the multitude of the little things, and everything that Joan and Nancy just shared with us, those little things, bit by bit, those layers that keep stacking up. And he asked again, he's like, what is the collaborative? And I said, well, I look at it, on Saturdays, once a month. I go to other meetings. The collaborative it's a mirror image of the community. And so with everybody doing all the things, and there's so much going on, it can be really hard sometimes to get that perspective. But taking a few moments and listening to not only what PRS and Northern Valley Catholic Social Services are doing, but the multitude of organizations that come up here month to month and share their piece of it, it is inspiring and absolutely superb, ladies. So thank you very much for sharing that today. Now we have Mr. Matt Fogarty, who's going to talk about the Indian Valley Yard Sale. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Pat. My name is Matt Fogarty. I live in Crescent Mills. I first moved here in 2016. And when I moved up here, I came with a box truck, and my daughter came up and she was at FRC. And I moved up in the spring, and that for the first yard sale, we went around and we tried to hit all the yard sales in Indian Valley. And we picked up, we furnished a house pretty much on that one day. And it was great to meet the whole community, one day and get to chat to everyone. So that was a really positive experience for me when I first moved up. I've been working on the store and the hotel in Crescent Mills. And as you can imagine, you kind of accumulate a lot of junk over time. And last year I had an enormous clear out and cleared out all my junk, sold it all at the yard sale. So I made some money. So actually I made about $700. So it was really fun, again, meeting everyone. So we've got the Indian Valley Yard Sale coming up. It's a little bit different this year. It's on a Friday and a Saturday, so you can get some evening work in there. So just a show of hands, who has some junk in the house that they think they should really get rid of? Okay, cool. And who wants some free money? Okay, great. So we've got some great participants. So this year we're going to do it a little bit different. So I have some space down in Crescent Mills, and also Lisa's going to be doing it across the road at the gift store. So we probably, between the two spaces, we have about space for maybe a dozen cars. So if you live in a place that's kind of not going to get much foot traffic, or you have concerns about people come to your house or anything else like that, feel free to load up your car with all your junk, drive it over to Crescent Mills, and we can host you there. Just bring a table and we can host you there. So that's what's going on. I hope you'll consider it. You do have time. We've got 2 months to clear out all those junks, go to your storage, check out all that stuff that's in there. You don't want any of it. Just get rid of it all. You'll feel so much better. Honestly, it's so worth it. After I got rid of all my junk, you can just breathe, and it's just makes you feel free. I love it. Anyway, So please consider it, think about it, and if you wanted to do something in Crescent Mills, you're really, really welcome. So mark that in your calendar, Friday, May the 17th, Saturday, May the 18th, and be prepared to either sell all your stuff or go out there and look for some really, really good bargains and meet all your neighbors. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And that junk, those are treasures, right? Those are keepsakes and treasures you're referencing. So a few updates from my end, and Joan and Nancy just talked extensively about the Recover California grant, but just to kind of beat that one to death, on Thursday, the 21st, from 2:30 to 5:30, right over here, 127 Crescent Street, Suite 2, walk in, and relatively informal. So we received some training from the Recover California folks at Housing and Community Development a couple of weeks ago. So it's encapsulating that training that we received, having the basic information flyers, and just being able to, they provided a checklist. It's not a small checklist, it's a couple of pages, but just trying to go down those documents so that when the real intake occurs, which will more than likely be April 10th, 11th, or 12th, that's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Recover California will be here to do their piece. And we're just using this opportunity to kind of sort of like a rehearsal, kind of lean into it a little bit so that when people do want to action this program, they have everything that they need. And hopefully that's a 100% package ready to go. You do not need to go through anybody in order to access this. The website over on the right features the program from Housing and Community Development. The red box there on the right is where you click. It's the 2021 program. You'll see that it just simply says available in Plymouth County, because for 2021, this is the county that is receiving that grant money, and then follow the steps. The online application takes anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. However, you can also do it longhand, right? You can print off the application and do it in good old fashioned black or blue ink. So, but we have some information on our website, dixiefirecollaborative.org, that has this there as well. And then you can always stop by, email me, call me, text me, hit me up in the grocery line, whatever, and I'm happy to help with it as well. By no means an expert, but I did attend the training, and we can kind of work through together. Next item, Recovery Support Function Working Group. So the Recovery Support Function is what the county developed in the last 2 years with regard to 5 functional areas of economic development, commercial and residential housing, infrastructure, health and social services, and natural and cultural resources. Each one of those working groups has 2 co-chairs that have worked on those working groups, and there was numerous partners in each one of those functional areas that gathered together in 22 and into 23 to develop roughly, they started with 52 projects, whittled that down to 27. And then we met again last month, and I think we actually crossed one off because it was probably a non-starter. But if you recall, you might have seen some documents similar to the ones in the bottom right-hand corner there. Tracy Ferguson had coordinated a number of community meetings last spring of 23. You may have attended one either here or potentially over at the Taylorsville Historic Hall. There were a bunch of poster boards and sticky notes and things of that nature where they were eliciting feedback. And then there was yet another iteration of that in September of 23. So it's taking that information. A lot of it has been written down and collected, but now it's trying to get it to where we can move out on these things. Some of them are focused around road work and infrastructure. So Plymouth County Public Works and Roads Department, they're focusing on those items. Some of them are economically related. Others are housing, just like the grant that we just talked about. So that those working groups have gotten started back up in earnest. And so we're meeting, we started in February on the 23rd. We're meeting again next Friday to get that group back together to focus on community profiles and spotlights of all the organizations that are helping. Those profiles and those spotlights are contributing to an overall comprehensive disaster recovery plan that the county is drafting. So in order to do some of that drafting, many hands make light work. And so the various partners that are engaged in this are going to work on those components. So at the last meeting, we had roughly 30 or so organizations identified that are helping to contribute to that effort, everything from housing, economic development, folks that deal with the natural and cultural resources, whether it be the museums or land and water, to build out that, overall, report. That report allows us to do a lot of things, allows us to advertise again, what the needs, vulnerabilities are as it relates to this effort. So having a comprehensive multi-page report to work with state and federal agencies to say, yep, here it is, here's the telephone book. And let me take you through these communities and let me take you through these spotlights to see where the most amount of effectiveness can be drawn from. So that is what we're working on, and hopefully, well, the goal is that it doesn't go on forever, right? So we've got this scheduled for the last Friday of every month over the next several. So we can knock this out and have it out on the street. And also, my job is to create some supplementals to make it a little bit more consumable, right? I don't know about you, but paging through 187 pages to get to what you need, not a lot of fun. So developing kind of a system where your groups, your organizations, and you as individuals can kind of speak the good word on this and help this lived. So still working on that. Park concepts. Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program. It's a division underneath the National Park Service. And one of their goals is to work on rivers, trails, conservation, as the name implies, but they also work with municipalities, county and state city organizations on developing public park spaces. So since last November, October timeframe, this division, they've been working on a few different park concepts for here in Greenville of what could kind of fit in the realm of reason for a nice town park. So they are getting to the point where they're ready to kind of unveil. And in May, we will have sort of not the finished product. We will have a couple of options to talk about at this meeting. And then we'll have about a 2-month time frame of both good old fashioned fill out a piece of paper, check boxes of what you do like, what you don't like, what you'd rather see. We'll have a electronic survey component to that as well. And then probably by the time we get to Gold Diggers in July, they will have something more like they'll have that feedback incorporated into probably, if I'm being honest, probably like 2 options, right? Can't have, too many choices, right? This or that. And then we'll get down to that, but that'll be forthcoming in May into July. Post office, I stopped by there. The superintendent, this nice fellow by the name of Terry, he has pulled up stakes there. He moved his 5th wheel, I think, back down to Arizona. But last we talked, he said estimated time end of April. Like I put there, that's what I heard. I don't know if there's the limitations seem to be either both internet and personnel staffing that the USPS is still working on. But it's happening. It's happening. So more that that's the latest on that. All right. Yeah, share outs. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a share out. So Blue Star Mothers, if you're not familiar with Blue Star Mothers, Blue Star Mothers is a national organization of family members that have active duty service members that are still serving at this time. Blue Star Mothers here in Plymouth County, or in Indian Valley, rather, I believe they're called the Wolf Creek Blue Star Mothers. Anna Lawson is the president of Blue Star Mothers, but they're working on a program. So it'll be Blue Star Mothers partnered with Highway for Heroes. So you may have noticed in other communities like Portola, Quincy, Chester, there are veteran banners that hang beside the main highways. Blue Star Moms, they're working on it right now, and they're partnering with that organization. And this handsome devil right here, this is Anna's son. This is what the banner would look like. So the banner itself costs about $90, and then the additional hardware and whatnot is $48. So that's what they are fundraising for right now. And for active service members, they just need verification that the service member is currently serving. For veterans, you just need to provide a DD2 Department of Defense Form 214, DD 214, which is your service record, with an honorable discharge, caveat. Danny, looking at you. No, just kidding. Honorable discharge, but and to validate an individual service. And the Blue Star Moms, they will have kind of a form to fill out basic things like the name, branch of service, time of service, et cetera, and follow up with that information. Then they're asking for a high resolution photo that they can eventually get put on this banner. And then they're working with Caltrans to secure the necessary permitting to hang it on the appropriate posts and whatnot that line Highway 89. Thanks for displaying that. But that's a great program that they're running. So you can find their website by going to bluestarmothers.org. And then from there, there's a California drop down, and then it's Wolf Creek Blue Star Mothers, I believe. And they're also going to put some items on their Facebook page, I believe, on how to go about this process. And how to donate money if you'd like to donate money for. That's a good move. Yeah, that's exactly right. Keep it with you. Yes, the other share out, thank you. Other share out is so Donkey Basketball. Donkey Basketball makes a return this evening over here in the high school gym. It's a fundraiser opportunity for the athletic boosters. I believe it gets going at 6 p.m. Dinner at 5. So dinner at 5 p.m. with the greatest spectacle on 4 legs, Donkey Basketball. So, all right, any additional share outs? Yes, Dan Litchfield.
Hey, everybody, Dan Litchfield with PRS. Just my standard end of the meeting share outs. Nature Made, of course, like Nancy and Joan were talking about, is we got 4 more months of funding with, hopefully we're going to continue that. So we either start May or June. June's usually better attended because kids are out of school. So we'll go June through August, and then hopefully continue funding for that. And the cool thing about that is what Joan mentioned on the climbing wall. That's he's a Paralympian. His name is Mark Wellman. Really inspiring for all the kids and the parents too. The parents come, they think they're going to just drop their kids off, and then just the energy there is so fun, and they end up staying and hanging out with their kids and playing in the creek, and everybody leaves sunburnt and mosquito bit and maybe missing a shoe or two. It's a blast. So we got more funding for that. And then the other cool thing is part of that Nature Made grant was for to restore the ropes course at Copper Creek, and been working with Taylor and getting the high ropes down, and then using a lot of that hardware because a lot of it was still new for the low ropes course. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if the contractor is up and running to put that up. It'll be a low ropes, little balance course. It'll be super fun. And then PRS was just awarded a Team of AmeriCorps, National Community Conservation Corps volunteers. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we got 9 18 to 26-year-olds for 6.5 weeks. So we're going to work on home hardening, fuels reduction with Plumas Fire Safe Council, Sierra Buttes Trail Stewardship, FRC, and then of course the folks in the DCMP are going to qualify for assistance. So we're gonna be cruising around with them. It's going to be super fun. You'll see a group of young people running around and helping out. So that's really cool. We have them from June 7th to July 24th, whatever 6.5 weeks is. And then hopefully we'll just keep getting them. So that's it.
Thank you, Dan. Any additional share outs? Yes, sir.
Hi, Jonathan Kusel, Sierra Institute for Community and Environment. Just 2 quick things. Sorry. So staff are continuing to work with the Forest Service and on the North Fork project, which is trying to get a bunch of the hills around here replanted and again, some more clearing done. It's been a challenge. We're looking at using emergency authorities, which is no small issue because it means it has to go back to Washington to get approval. So that work continues. Stay tuned for more on that. The really exciting thing I wanted to share, please mark your calendars for June 20th, ribbon cutting on the Roundhouse here, celebration of the grand opening. That's all. We're really excited about that and it's come along and June 20th, as you've looked at that roof, the angle of that roof, the sun at about 1:30 will be shining straight down through the top of that, very top of the roof there. And it's a mass timber, structure. Actually going to spend a little time and take a look at it after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And so the first project, that's exactly what Mr. Hoffman from the Forest Service was referencing last month. So that's great to hear. Any additional share outs? Going once, anything on Zoom? No. Okay, question and answer. So pretty light this time. So Danny, if you could please join us if there's any anybody that presented. So PRS, Matt, Danny. Yep. North Valley Catholic Social Services. There any questions? I have one for them, actually. Your brief, very informative. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the resource center, on what it provides and when it's open?
Thank you. That's a great question. The Dixie Fire Resource Center is in Crescent Mills, shares space with Crescent Country on that right-hand side of the street. It's available to all community members. It's not just fire. It's not just, you have to be a fire survivor to walk in the door. No, come in the door. Whether you live here, you live somewhere else in Plymouth County, come in the door. There's food on the shelves for anybody who's having difficulties, keeping food in their pantry. There's clothing. We have so much clothing. We're going to be doing a lot of outreach in the community to gift back a lot of the donations that we've had, which are summer clothing, all kinds of clothing, kids clothing. It's staffed. It's staffed. So if you don't have a printer or you can't make copies or you need to get on the internet, there's computers there, there's copiers there. Behavioral health and the health center has a vending machine of health items like COVID tests and other personal kind of health things. There's what else we got, guys? Yep, we have DCMs there staffing it every day. What days? Okay, the days that we're there are Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you need to meet with DCM out of those hours, just give us a call. We're happy to use that space if it's closer for you. But there's, and if there's anything, just a resource that you're missing and you're having difficulty accessing it, come in and ask. I mean, we're there just to try to help you find resources, anybody in the community. There's no qualifications to walk through the door. Just come and say hi. There's coffee. Sometimes there's snacks. So just come by and say hi. We appreciate serving you.
Thank you. Any additional questions for any of the presenters? Oh, Joan's got a question.
I gotta ask a question. So I request that for those of us who aren't resident in the valley, it's always nice to know that there's something available when we're here for the Dixie Fire Collaborative Community Meeting. Because sometimes, things are closed and we're here for that, just for that weekend, because we can't come all the time. So we can't come by the resource center because you're closed. And so I think that goes for a lot of other resources around. It's just kind of, pay attention. I think as more people, especially at springtime coming and summer's coming, it does gather more people for the Dixie Fire Collaborative weekend. So, anyway, now she's going to pay me back.
No, you can always, I was gonna say, you can always call the resource center and leave a message. And they will call people back and make arrangements. Or you can always go to the NBCSS website or the PRS website. And you can always leave a message at either one of our offices. So people can, get in touch with us. I'm always available on the weekends, so people can always call me. So there's always a way to get us.
And Taylor and I were just talking about an opportunity to look at the calendar over the next, 3 to 6 months with regard to soliciting specific organizations to be here and be present. So just like there's a table in the back today that has resources available, that's a good way for those that aren't able to get during business hours to a place that if they're present here on a weekend, or at least the information is provided here, that they can follow up. But yes, thank you, Danny.
And my question for you, Danny, is, when you said that there was $39,000 and blah, 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 that was set aside and split, for the, support of the DFC Center. Oh, that's your resource center. Okay, all right, because I was confused about what that was and what that entails. What does that mean, support of?
Yes, and actually that was Dixie Fire Collaborative's half of the support, because North Valley Community as the other half of the support.
So that's like lights
Right,
and
and
just to,
the function, right, to keep it going, and then somehow somebody else gives them the resources which they hand out. Or support with, right?
This is probably for you. Any updates on the spot on when things might be coming back? Have you heard anything?
So not specifically, I'm trying to think if anybody here has more spot information.
I don't have a lot of spot information, but I know that, there, on the 26th of next month, that there will be a dedication and ribbon cutting for the, canopy project at the spot. And because they will have a trailer at the spot, which will be their office. And at that time, there will be, kind of a celebration of the, arrival of the trees for the spot, what am I trying to say? The landscaping. There we go. That's the word I need. Anyway, they're going to be doing the landscaping down at the spot. And I think there's going to be booths, there will be booths there and that sort of thing. And I believe the Way Baby will be open on that day. And I'm pretty sure from then on, that's going to kind of bring the trailers back. I know that Christie's trailer will probably be coming around June or July. So I think that's going to kind of be an unofficial start of things kind of happening down there. So I would say kind of that around that time. What's the date? 26. It's Arbor Day, kind of an Arbor Day celebration.
26th of April. And speaking of trailers, I did, especially on a day like today, if you've not been over to Hunter Hardware on Hot Springs Road, Susie operates the tool bank. And that tool bank is chock full of, hundreds of different types of tools. And especially on a day like today, if you're in a pinch and you're doing some work around the house and you need something, that is a great resource, and it's an underutilized resource. Power tools, hand tools, yard tools, you name it. She's got a lot of great stuff there. So I think I might go down there, take some pictures and get it up on Facebook, because it is a great resource, and it's there for you. It's there for everybody here. Any additional questions? All right, well, thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jim. Again, if in the future, if you have anything that you'd like to present, that's Taylor's email address there. We do anticipate on our next meeting, which is April 20th, Saturday, April 20th. That's the third Saturday of April. We know right now that we will have a presentation from the Feather River Resource Conservation District. They'll be giving a presentation, and we're actively pursuing those other contributors. So enjoy your St. Patrick's Day Eve, and hopefully you got a little bit of the luck of the Irish with you. And thank you all very much for attending, and we'll see you all next month. Have a good day.